So we're going to make arancini balls. So the first thing we're going to do is make a risotto. So you need the risotto rice. Now you have to use risotto rice. You can't use any other rice. Okay, so it's either Italian risotto rice or it's called arborio rice. And that will allow it to be like this and makes it quite sticky, and it will stick together, and therefore you can shape it quite easily. So the first thing you need to do is you need to take your onion and you need to cut the onion in half through the root, taking off the skin. Get rid of the excess skin, and then you need to use bridge and claw method to dice your onion. Okay, so we're going to dice your onion and do the same for the other half. And dice the onion. So again, using bridge and claw method, chopping down not all the way through and then cutting across using your claw. Then discard the rest. Then you need to take a garlic, and we're going to crush the garlic. Get some flavour. And then you need some sliced mushrooms, and you need your risotto, and you need 750 grams to 150 grams of risotto rice. So this jug will only do 500 millilitres, so you'll need to go back and refill the jug with another 250 millilitres. If you're doing 100 grams of risotto rice to make a smaller amount, then you'll only need about 500 millilitres of water. So the first thing you need to do is turn your pan on, add a little bit of oil to the pan, put the pan on. Okay. And then what you're going to do is we're going to lightly fry our onions first of all, and what we're going to do is we're going to caramelise the onions. So by gently frying them, we allow those sugars to heat up and caramelise, and that will give it a nice flavour. Okay. And to that you can add your mushrooms. Okay. And just gently fry those down. Now the mushrooms will, you can see here, the mushrooms here, they go a lot smaller to these. So as the water content releases from the mushrooms, then they reduce in size. So this amount here will be roughly about this amount and make this amount of risotto. So gently fry those. Okay, and then once that starts frying and you've reduced those down, then you can add the risotto rice. So you can hear that's caramelising at the moment, and the mushrooms are reducing down as they cook. And you can see the water vapour coming from the mushrooms releasing there. Continually stir that. Put it on quite a high heat because you want this to cook quite quickly. Keep stirring so nothing burns. Make sure you've got enough oil in the pan to make sure it cooks without burning. And you can see already the mushrooms are starting to reduce in size. Okay, so you don't want the onions to turn any colour, you just want them to go slightly opaque. You don't want it to caramelise too much. And then what you do is you add the risotto rice in there, give it a stir. Oh. stir in the pan. And then as that's reducing down, you can start adding your stock. Now you need to add the stock slowly, a little bit at a time. Okay. So you add some, stir it, and as you can see, the stock is reducing. So as that reduces, then you need to add more water, more of the stock. And then you keep stirring that. Okay. And cooking that down. And as that reduces the water, then you need to add more stock. And keep stirring all the time. So you can't leave the pan, you need to stir it all the time, else the rice would catch on the bottom. Okay? So you need to continually stir that until that's all cooked. Okay, and keep adding the water as it reduces. And then that is cooking the rice. Okay, a bit more. And you keep continuing with that. As the rice cooks, and when it gets to the point where the rice becomes like this, and when you taste it, it should be slightly soft, then that's ready to then make into your arancini balls. So if you want to, depending on your recipe, you can add Parmesan cheese to it. So you can use fresh or dried Parmesan cheese. The dried Parmesan cheese will have a stronger flavour to it. Okay, and you can put seasonings such as mixed herbs and some salt and pepper in there to give it a little bit more seasoning and flavour. Just be careful how much salt you add, because you've got stock cube in there which is quite salty anyway. Okay, so keep reducing that down, keep stirring, and then what you're going to do is, once your risotto is cooked, you take a handful of risotto. You can use, to shape it, you can use something like mozzarella cheese. So I've got some mozzarella cheese here. You can take the mozzarella cheese, get a ball of the mozzarella, like the risotto like that. Make sure it's cool. Obviously it has to have cooled down before you can do this. Do it like that. Get some of the mozzarella. You can buy little mozzarella balls, or you can buy it in one ball like that, and you can just break it up. Put a little bit of the mozzarella in the middle. Take some of the rice and then shape that into a ball. Okay? Like that. Okay. Then once you've shaped all your balls, try and make them all the same size so they cook evenly. Then what you do is you take the arancini ball, you coat it in flour, then coat it in the egg, then coat it in the flour, the breadcrumbs, sorry, breadcrumbs. Then once it's coated in the breadcrumbs, make sure you've greased the tray, put your arancini on the tray, and then just drizzle a little bit of oil over the top, and then you pop those into the oven at about 180 for about 20 minutes.